Right, let's begin with the lead story this evening. 5 days ahead of the massive vaccination rollout, the Prime Minister held a meeting with chief ministers of various states and in a televised portion of his address, talked about how India is going to undertake the largest vaccination rollout in the world, where nearly 30 crore people will be vaccinated. So far, most countries have managed to vaccinate about 2.5 crore people, and the candidates for the vaccine are homegrown indigenous players that are producing a vaccine at prices that India can afford. Now, that's the really important part of the puzzle right now, isn't it? Where will the vaccines come from? So 5 days ahead of that big rollout, the government of India has finally inked a deal, we hear and we are reporting, with the Serum Institute of India, which is the maker of Covishield, that is the Oxford and AstraZeneca vaccine. So now sources have told ET now that this deal has been inked for 11 million doses and at 200 rupees a shot, which means 400 rupees per person will be the price that the government of India will pay. The Prime Minister also said that for the initial phase where 3 crore health workers will be vaccinated, that cost will be borne by the central government and not the state governments. In fact, we also learned that the first round of dispatches and the first lot, the first consignment of vaccines will be dispatched from the Pune Serum Institute of India Center at 4:30 tomorrow morning. But meanwhile, the big questions that remain. For one, is 11 million doses nearly enough? Have we left all the negotiations and securing of doses a little to the last minute? And will we have enough supply for the large scale of vaccination that we hope to really undertake? Those are some of the questions I will be posing to Anant Bhan this evening. Anant, welcome to the show. He's a global health and policy expert, and thank you for joining us. Now, based on the information that we just put forth, what is your view on the fact that we've inked this deal 5 days before we're ready to roll out the vaccine, and the first lot is 11 million doses? We hope that there will be more purchase orders, but as of now, it's 11 million doses. Do you think this is nearly enough?
It's an interesting update. It's likely that they were negotiating hard on prices because we know that there was vaccine stockpiling happening for a long time now, at least for the last few weeks, and that Serum had publicly announced that they have enough doses to at least start. And in fact, we've been hearing all of these stories around Pune airport, waiting literally every day to be able to send these vaccines out. So is this going to be enough? Obviously not. I mean, even with the initial priority list, which the government has announced, you're talking about 3 crore health workers and frontline workers, which has clearly been identified as a priority group to which the vaccines need to be given. And all of these individuals obviously need to be given the 2 doses of the vaccine. So you're literally talking about 6 crore doses right there. And then, another group, which is those above 50, as well as those under 50 with comorbidity. And I think the estimates are around 27 crore population for that segment. So even if we take all of this together, we're talking about 30 crore individuals, which is around 60 crore doses. And, that's a huge number. Even if we start off as that segment of the population needing coverage for vaccination, getting there will take a long time, but we will also need so many doses. So I am hoping that this is maybe just the first tranche of purchasing, and that this will be an ongoing process and not waiting to the last minute to make it happen, because the supply part of vaccination is hugely important, and ensuring there is stability there and ensuring there is continuity there is very important.
Absolutely, because if you come to think of it, 11 million doses, 1.1 crore doses, which will cover what, 50 odd lakh people, which is a far cry from how far we need to go. So let me come to what Serum Institute of India has publicly put out there, Anant, which is that they have stockpiled 50 million doses. Will even that be enough? Because we're seeing how countries like US and UK are struggling with really getting enough supply in time. Some nations are even considering increasing the gap between doses more than which is prescribed, just to cover a larger variety of people.
Yeah, it's been a tough ride for most countries where vaccination has been started. In fact, I think Israel, from what I read, is the only country which has managed to, do it fairly at good pace. In fact, I think a couple of weeks ago they had already covered around 10% of their population with vaccines. But then again, they're a smaller country with where it's easier to probably roll it out if you have enough funds and a secure vaccine supply. In India, it's certainly going to be challenging, I think, which is why ensuring that we have those agreements in place, ensuring that the company knows what is the order and hence starts preparing for it. If it means ramping up its manufacturing, then they should be doing it as soon as possible, because it's not overnight that you can create that kind of a manufacturing facility. You need to obviously plan in advance to get there. So I think having a certainty around how many doses are being planned, say even from a particular manufacturer, will help plan better ahead of time. But in fact, if they already have a certain amount of doses stockpiled, then that is something which is readily available, and hopefully the government will make those agreements soon enough so that at least those doses which are stockpiled can be effectively used. Because once the campaign starts, you want to ensure that you have cross-country coverage, and that at no point of time you have stockouts or situations like that.
What are the biggest challenge you see coming ahead, Mr. Bhan, and what can we learn from the nations that have already rolled out their vaccination plan? I mean, you hear of reports of wastage of vaccine doses because they've not been stored properly or not been used within the prescribed time. Then, of course, supply side shortages. What are the really tough questions that India faces up ahead and the challenges that we face?
Yeah, well, I think the one really positive thing that we've done is do the dry runs, and I think that would have probably given enough practice for us to know the transport challenges, the challenges of setting up vaccination centers, how to deliver vaccines at these centers, etc. And that combined with our existing experience with our fairly large immunization program, among the largest in the world, and our experience with running elections, etc., should hold us in good stead. That having been said, it's going to be a function of supply, which is constant, ensuring that there is enough financing to purchase those doses and making those doses available all across the country. You wouldn't want those doses, for example, to be only available in urban centers or in district centers, but available to everyone who needs it, who qualifies as per the criteria. So I think that's where the challenge is. You can forecast some of that, you can plan for some of that, but you have to make it happen. The implementation part is the most challenging in many ways. Once you have made those decisions, you have to get the doses to where it is required. And that can be obviously challenging from a logistical perspective, because you are going to have to do this on top of routine vaccine supply, etc. So, hopefully everything will go to plan. I'm really positive on our own experience in the country of running these kind of vaccination programs, but there is also a lot of new learning to be done, because we have not done anything of this scale and with this kind of a cross age group before. So, there can be challenges, and hopefully we'll learn and ensure that we are able to be on top of those.
Well, it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning, and we'll be tracking this vaccination rollout, this historical vaccination rollout, which will hopefully bring an end to the pandemic every step of the way. Thank you so much, Anant Bhan, for speaking with us.